Welcome, gentlemen. We are now live here in our 1300 or 1 p.m. Central European time session here. So please turn on your cameras, and I hope to see all of you here in a moment. Yeah, I see Sander, I see F, I see Mark, and we see the thumbnail of Irvin, who is the technical side managing your slides. So how are you guys?
Really good.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Are you as nervous as I am?
Extremely.
Extremely. I think that Irvin, he must hate me for now, because it's like, yeah, we will make sure that everything happens. And just for the audience to know, there's Murphy's Law. If something goes wrong, everything goes wrong. So Ricoh is, I wouldn't say that you're responsible, because Mark actually asked me if it was okay to add invitees during the session. I said, yeah, no problem. I mean, that should be easy. Isn't that how we sell, Mark?
Exactly. Push the boundaries, Morten.
Yeah, we push the boundaries, and I think that Ricoh as a company, you have pushed some boundaries in the last years, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely.
So we have a little time, because it's still like a minute before the hour. So Sander, I mean, you worked with Ricoh for some time, right? Tell me a little bit about the journey. I mean, because I remember when Ricoh was only office equipment. That was terrible times.
Yeah, so I've been working for Ricoh already for, I think, over 20 years in the meanwhile. But I have to be honest, Ricoh is a very ambitious company. They did a lot of mergers and acquisitions. So I used to start, when I started my career in the graphic arts market, I worked for Kodak, which sold off their office equipment business to Denka. And Denka again sold it off to Ricoh in meanwhile. So we became Infotech, and then being integrated in 2008 into Ricoh. So it's been a very enjoyable journey, to be honest, with a lot of changes, because after the Denka integration, we also had the IBM integration. So there's a lot of happening with Ricoh. So it's been a very exciting journey, and I think really exciting at the point where we are today, really growing our Inkjet business into the graphic arts market.
Mm-hmm. And just for us to get started with the people that we have here on the session, F, you are the Vice President of Commercial and Industrial Printing Group for Printing. That was a long word. You can probably explain a little bit better who you are and what you do for yourself, right?
Yeah, no, it's I joined Ricoh in 2008. So when we really started the journey into production printing, and to be honest, I was working already in the industry before for 20 years, and I was never thinking to join Ricoh, because what you said, it was really more an office printing supplier. But we had a very interesting journey in the last 12, 13 years, and I never regret for 1 second that I joined Ricoh. Because we have been able to grow the business substantially, yes, through acquisitions and mergers, but certainly also a lot of organic growth. And I can still remember in 2008, the first Drupa where we joined, where we had primarily one solution we could put on the booths, and we put 5 of them on just to fill the booths. And if you look now at the total hardware and software and services portfolio we have grown into in 12 years, I can say I'm extremely proud of that.
I couldn't agree more with you, because I mean, when I look at from the outside, I have, it's like when I used to work in a printing company, and when you're a PSP, you look at the vendors from an outside perspective, and you can just see that how things are developing. And I think that the development of technologies is really interesting, because it also grows into, as we're going to talk about during the sessions in this week, how the technology is evolving to now actually being able to replace some of the analog technologies where both speed and quality and diversity in substrates and applications is no longer a question, right?
Yeah.
So just fantastic. Sander, I just jumped to you before we was on the hour. You are director for commercial print sales in the same group as F.
Yeah, correct.
Do you do anything, or is it just a fine title?
It is a nice title now. So I joined F's team actually the 1st of September. Before that, I was running the operations within Ricoh Netherlands, so the commercial industrial printing group responsible for the Dutch market, and now responsible to make sure we are selling into the graphic arts market across Europe. So the knowledge I built up over the years in the Dutch market, I'm now able to help my colleagues in the other opcos to make sure we are successful, and especially the growth in Inkjet is an important part of that, but also other areas in the graphic arts market, like our cut sheet toner devices, but also our wide format products and flatbed products. So very interesting, and of course, last but not least, it's very important also to help our customers with workflow, so production workflow, marketing workflows, in order to add value to their business.
I can't help think about that from a certain perspective. That when I look at the Netherlands in particular, it seems that it has been a very matured market. Also, I mean, a lot of online printing started there. Some of the really large print agencies or print brokers and these kind of things were out of some of the very large corporations you have. Do you think that's also an advantage for you in your work, that you have that very close relationship to a market where things operate like it used to be in anyway?
Yeah, I definitely think so. If I look at it, and you just become aware of it when you change roles, but I do agree. The Netherlands is a very mature market. I think there's a lot of printing being done in the Dutch market. If you look at the size of our country in square meters and in number of populations, and the number of printers we have and the number of volumes going on, it is quite a big and mature market. And also, I think we tend to be very innovative in the Netherlands. And also, what you see happening is a lot of pressure on digital transformation, which is happening. I think we're one of the front leaders together with more Scandinavian countries. So I think that's really helpful. But you only realize it when you start changing roles and talk to other customers across Europe. So I think it's definitely an advantage having that experience.
Mark Hinder, you're relatively new to the Ricoh family, and you are responsible for business development. And I introduce you a little bit, but I have a trick question to you afterwards. You knew it. You knew
Always
it, right?
A curveball. Always a curveball coming with you, Morten. Always a curveball.
You should know better now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, time flies because it's. I've been here now 19 months. So it's I think lockdown has accelerated that time here, but it's been enjoyable. And I must admit, I'm playing to the strengths of what I can do, and helping my colleagues, and more importantly, helping customers, which is the key to this. And during this session, obviously, we're going to go into that in a bit more detail.
Definitely. Before I let you off the hook, the trick question was more like, if I should, I mean, because you were part of our first Learn With Us session that we just called Learn With Us, basically. About it was more about the basics, and when you gave a presentation about, I just need to log in Arndt here, so he's in the green room. No, I just wanted to say that when you gave a presentation about the business plan and the business development and the things that you are really actively promoting as part of the Ricoh value proposition, it's not entirely wrong to say that this is a dream come true, right? Because I mean, also in
me part of it. Wow,
yeah,
absolutely.
But I was thinking in the sense that I think that you and we talked also when you worked with Konica. I think that we had talked so long time about how important it is not to just focus on the equipment and just focus on things, but also to make sure that business understanding becomes part of the value proposition. And now you're in a position where you can actually do that, right?
Exactly. And I'm grateful to Aif and Sander and all my colleagues and Erwin to give me the opportunity to do it, because we are actually bringing something to market which is real. You're going to hear that from Willem later on. And it is making a real positive impact. And that's the key. That's the key.
So I think we move into, I have some questions for each of you, right? Is that the time now to do that? Is that fine?
Yeah.
Let's get started with you, If. First of all, I'm sorry that I called you Irvin when we just met before. It was just because the thumbnail, and I was so stressed because I know exactly that you are not Irvin. So don't worry about that. At least it wasn't in public, right? So now I have even given you an official apologies. Some of the things that is I think is very important for everybody in the industry is when is technology ready to move to the next level, kind of thing, right? And we're going to talk about whether the inkjet now has become a valid technology for offset to digital conversion, right? And I would say, I mean, from your perspective, how desirable is inkjet today, and why is there so much focus on inkjet, in your opinion?
Yeah, first of all, Morten, thanks for having us here. And,
always.
And later on, we're also joined by 3 of our much appreciated customers. So really also looking forward to hearing from them. So, but yeah, how desirable is inkjet today? I think it's as you can expect from us, but very desirable. But certainly because inkjet technology is really enabling the analog to digital transition even more, and that's why. Yeah, from Ricoh's side, but I think also our colleagues in the market, we are spending a lot of research and development effort into inkjet development for many different applications. Because, yeah, I think in the past, inkjet was being looked at as poor quality, you know, in the home office environment. But now inkjet is opening up a lot of new opportunities and possibilities, and not only for printing on paper, but also you see inkjet now really coming up very strong in the wide format, flatbed, the direct to garment, textile business, labels, packaging, everywhere. And yeah, further, I think if you look at the run lengths, and of course that's going on already for years, but it's getting shorter and shorter, and that becomes even a bit too small for having really viable offset production. So for that, inkjet is really what I think the ideal solution, where the quality is already now comparable, and had the use of personalization, and I think also because of COVID is really accelerating now. So yeah, I think inkjet offers really a lot of flexibility, speed on the media, on the substrates, on the applications for a relatively low variable cost. And I think we have a slide on that. I think really if you look at what's here, you see it. If you look at, this is a prediction from Caslon, but they estimate that between, say, now and 2030, the offset print volume, which is not a surprise, I think we all know that's happening, but that it will decrease annually with about, say, more than 2%. But digital printing and also inkjet, because inkjet is already, some people are not aware, probably already more than half of the digital print volume. And so digital printing is predicted to be growing more than 4% annually, and it might even reach almost 10% in 2030. So I think inkjet very desirable today, and that's also why we spend so much money on inkjet innovation.
Yeah, I of course I would just about to say, because that is obviously one very good argument that you come with there, but it's also another argument that is still digital accounts for a very, very small percentage, right? So we have growth, but you have also the huge opportunity, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the estimate is now that digital doesn't account for more than 3 to maximum 4% of the total production color volume annually. And of course that includes also newspapers and so on, which you will not see quickly the transition to digital on paper, but of course more already a digital transition on this.
Do you think that the pandemic has accelerated this transition at all?
Yeah, I think so. Well, let me say, first of all, the market has been suffering a lot. The printing market suffering a lot from the pandemic, and certainly the graphic arts companies who make money out of print, because they follow a lot the economy trend. And if you look at this slide, that's quite interesting, because I think the resilience of the graphic arts market is very strong. And here you see, for instance, in 2008, that we had the financial crisis, and you see then in the orange line, the printing industry follows very quickly the economy when it goes down. But on the other hand, you see that it also quickly steps up again when the economy goes up. And that's also the expectation. You see, we are in a tremendous dip in the economy and also in the graphic arts industry in 2020, and probably for a part of 2021 also. But certainly when the economy recovers again, also the marketing spend will recover, and that is very positive for the graphic arts. So I think the resilience of the graphic arts market is very strong. And on the other hand, also the pandemic has accelerated a couple of things. And I think if you look at, we have another slide on this. If you look at the market for personalization, that has really started to accelerate. So by moving these analog production methods into digital, that enables much more personalization. And of course, also with digital, you are much more flexible in integrating hybrid multimedia marketing campaigns, combining digital, print, also with online. So we really see an acceleration on that. And the other one which you see here is on e-commerce. I think certainly commercial printers realize that there is a strong need for online presence and e-commerce capabilities. And the ones who have already got that have really seen a lot of acceleration of certain applications in the last year. Like, for instance, if you look at the photo book printing, but also if you look at personalized cards, greeting cards, there are more Christmas cards, paper Christmas cards being sent than ever before. While we thought that was in a big decline. I think also the personalized gifts. So yeah, e-commerce capability has really accelerated the companies who had been very responsible and responsive and flexible to react on that. And yeah, I think the bottom two, reducing stock, is not really a need, but of course people want to reduce their cost, and reducing stock is more possible with digital, with shorter run lengths, and you can print more or less on demand what's needed, and not have to have a big stock. And last but not least, of course, everybody is looking at how can I reduce my cost.
But that is sorry. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Yves. But I was just thinking that reduced stock and the time to market has also another advantage compared to some of the mega trends we see right now because of the environmental impact, right? Because you don't have to exceed stocks, and you don't have to see that. And even with I think that a lot of the presses out there, also the digital presses, are very eco-friendly, right?
Yeah. No, okay. Absolutely. It's not on this slide, but you're absolutely right. Reducing the environmental impact by printing only what you need is absolutely an additional benefit of digital printing, indeed.
Let's see. We have one of your customers, Arndt. Can you hear us? We just need to figure out to get the sound here. So just say something for a second. Are you unmuted? Now I can hear something, but I can't hear you in the webinar here. Hang on a second here. I just have so many buttons here. Try say something again. I can hear you, but we can't hear you in the webinar here. So, okay, I know what's wrong. Hang on a second. I just need to turn on your microphone. That sounds like the logical thing to do, right? Try say something again.
Hello? Do you hear me?
We hear you very weak. Can you talk loud because we have some technical issues with that routing?
All right, I tried, but I'm not sure how it works. I'm on this eCam. Is it right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and now it's a little better?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So, Arndt, why don't you introduce yourself first? Who are you?
I do. My name is Arndt Wille, and I'm working for the Sattler Media Group as a business development manager. And I'm in the high-speed inkjet team of the Sattler Media Group because we decided at the end of last year to go on a VC 70,000 together with Ricoh. And I think this was an important decision for our company for the future. And I think I could try to give you a little bit more information about the Sattler Media Group. So I would like to ask Erwin for the slides.
It's already there. You can see it. Yeah.
All right. Then the Sattler Media Group. Sorry, I have to check one thing because I can't see it from where I'm now. So I have to. Sorry for that. I will. Yeah. Now here it is. I give you some information about the Sattler Media Group, our companies and our brands. So there is a Sattler Media Crest, which is the biggest company in our group and is doing their work in most of the time with supplements and newspaper for our biggest customers, like Germany, in Germany. Like in Edeka or maybe, for example, Bündisches Wettenlager. On the other side, I have the Sattler Direct Mail, which is our mailing part for direct mails. On the other end, on this side, we have the Sattler Premium Print, which is premium, but where we're printing catalogs and magazines. And we have also brands Sattler Media, and where we do all the multi-channel things, so crossing together with online media and things. And on the other side, we have the Sattler Agrar Media, which is a very special small part where we do advertising for farmers, so a very special area. So it's the next slide. And I hope you can see it. Yeah. So we're talking about something around 500 employees right now in the Sattler Group, and overall the revenue of the turnover for 100 million a year, and 4+1 different plants in the group. So you see it on the card. And our main product, like I said, is newspaper supplements, direct mail part, and at the end, magazines and catalogs. I hope that's enough right now about the Sattler Media Group and where you're talking to, so we can come to the very interesting inkjet questions.
Perfect. I'm very sorry about the bad sound. It's not your fault. It's simply us that have not delivered as we're supposed to. But hang on a second here. Arndt, I have just sent you an email with another link.
Okay.
If you use that instead, we go directly into the system here.
Okay, I try.
I turn off your audio because it's so bad anyway.
We cannot hear you, Morten.
Turn this on. Okay, so what I just said to Arndt is don't laugh at me, Mark. I saw that.
I'm not laughing at you, Morten. I remember the first time we did this. I must admit, technology, eh?
Yeah.
But
So
we'll get there.
So now Arndt is referred to as a Ricoh call-in guest, and that is what he is anyway. So Arndt, are you there? I just saw you came in and then you left. Maybe you're still not. Okay, let's spend the time wisely, because everything is about how we spend our time, and Arndt will be there in a second. And I think that also Willem is on this. Maybe you listen to this, Willem. So when I will just send you a mail as well, because basically we will take you in as a guest, so you will just have to get in and out, because then we have proper sound. See, we solve things here on the fly. Is that something that you can recall, guys, as well? Because in the printing industry, I don't know if you know this, but actually in the session yesterday. On the fly, is that something that you can record, guys, as well? Because in the printing industry, I don't know if you know this. Actually, in the session yesterday.
Hello.
On the fly, is that something that you can record, guys, as well? Because in the printing industry, I don't know if you know this. Actually, in the that is funny. That's the longest echo I ever heard. Is that something that you can
Hello.
record, guys, as well? Because in the printing industry, I don't know if you know this. That was strange. Arndt, can you please take on a headphone set, and then if you can do that, and then turn on your microphone and your camera again. Okay, he left the building here. I am truly sorry about this, guys. This is the fantastic thing about live. See, that is actually, it's both an advantage and a disadvantage of being live, because the good thing about it is that we can see each other. The bad thing is it can go wrong, right? Yesterday, actually this morning, it was a printer from Germany, Tobias Kase. He said in a film we did with him that digital inkjet or inkjet devices seems to be a little bit less matured in the development when they are brought to market. That's something that, I mean, because when you look at Heidelberg and Koenig & Bauer, they have existed for hundreds of years, so to speak, right? And therefore you have to have a different mindset also when you invest in these kind of things. Is that something that is true, or is it completely wrong?
Well, Morten, let me try to answer it. I think
I think Arndt is back in the call.
Arndt, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Try to turn on the camera. The camera is just up next to the microphone.
Okay.
Now the sound was right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, I will just, while you find it, I will just.
All right.
Now much better.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's my apologies. So you introduced yourself. That I got. Now you will also be able to see the slides. And of course, I just need to let you know, or I would like to ask you. So when you talk about your company and when you talk about the things that we see and the different segments you have different technologies, obviously, right?
Right.
When you talk to your clients, do they see a difference in what technology you use, or is it something that you don't involve the clients with at all?
Yeah. Generally, we can say no, but sometimes there are personal preferences. That's the only cause, but normally we can say no for our products, especially in the direct mail market. It is not a figure if it's printed in offset or in inkjet. That's I think at the end the most important thing is the mailing at the end customer where the revenue is made. So that's a very important thing. So we don't have to discuss this with our customers.
And I take that as a huge advantage for you, right?
Absolutely, and especially the roll inkjet, the high-speed digital inkjet brings us to the place where we can print a lot of our products which we produce right now, and especially the one where we can say, which is at the moment the way for our basic, we call it hybrid production, where we have an offset preprint and then a digital or an inkjet imprint. Yeah. So for this, the high-speed inkjet machine will be a very big advantage for our customers, and then using variable data and things so on is another advantages which we use right now only in a small area. Yeah?
Did you have the inkjet device before you got the VC70000?
Not inkjet, only toner systems and sheet digital printing, but not the VC70000 with the first inkjet system.
So if you look at of some of the capabilities and the new opportunities you have in the market with the inkjet, so is it too early to say something whether it's a good investment from your perspective?
Absolutely, and maybe I have to tell you a little bit more about our decision why it's an inkjet system.
Please do so.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's why it is an inkjet system, and especially at the end a Ricoh system. It's a mixture of a lot of facts, but the most effective things are the combination of speed and quality. Because especially also the VC70000 has got a new quality step for us, what we see in the inkjet market. So this was one step. In the combination of the costs, because this is the most important thing. If we talk about from offset to inkjet, there must be the right decision is based at the end of costs mostly. So this must fit together. And I think at the other end, it's very important for our end customers to see all the advantages, because this will be an important thing for us, for our sales department, to go on and go further with all these things. So that was one of our main facts for the decision for the Ricoh.
And anything else we wanted to ask Arndt about, guys? No.
No, we know Arndt very well, and we know his decision process, and we are very, very pleased to partner with a professional company like Sander. So I would like to thank Arndt again for his positive decision towards Ricoh.
Yeah,
and talking about that, I thank you also, Arndt, for participating, and I'm sorry for the technical flaws, but that's live when we're doing live thing here. I will just kick you out so we can get ready for the next speaker here. So thank you, and then I will ask you a question, F. Do you think that if you look at, I mean, as we spoke about before, the entire week is about inkjet. Do you think that inkjet will at some point replace offset totally?
Well, Arndt left now, so I can. But if he would be on, I would also say, of course,
inkjet will at some point replace offset totally.
Okay, well, that was again. So, well, I think the answer is no for the coming decade. There will be a lot of applications which are still very suitable for offset technology. But I think, if you look at inkjet being a non-impact technology, that really has the potential to replace a much more offset pages, because if you look at the productivity and the quality and the cost, and you heard that also from Arndt, we are able to bridge the gap more and more also between toner and offset. And we have a slide on that also. You see it here, where we are very proud on our toner solutions we have, and of course we continue to develop also in that. But we have reached a certain limit of what more you can do on quality and productivity, and certainly on cost, where we haven't seen those limits yet for inkjet. So that's why we think that the potential for inkjet to replace offset pages more and more is absolutely there. And what you saw in the pandemic, in the COVID situation, that you see a lot of drop of analog print volumes. But if we look at the digital print volumes, they were less impacted what we have seen before. And knowing that also for us that already more than half of the digital print volume is inkjet. So yeah, we think there is a very bright future for inkjet. And even if the economy of scale goes further in the advantage of inkjet, so we sell more inkjet solutions into the market. That means that we sell and provide more ink into the market. So also the cost of ink will go down further. So that's why, yeah, I think there is a bright future for inkjet. Will it replace fully offset? I don't think so in the next decade, but it will become one of the dominant technologies, and perhaps even sooner than we think.
And I think that maybe also to that extent is what justifies you to invest all the money that you do in further development, right? Because one thing is that you can see a growth. We spoke about the market potentials before, but since the demand for faster turnaround times, high quality, low setup cost, variable data, I mean, all the things that we talk about, the wonderful things, that justifies your investment in further technologies. And for the customer, how great it is, because I just imagine that we get better presses of that competition, right?
Absolutely. And yeah, so again, I think a very, very bright future for production inkjet.
Well, Sander, I think that maybe F already kind of touched upon it, because we're talking about the feasibility of investing in inkjet. What kind of things should you consider before buying and or investing in a high-speed inkjet press?
Yeah, good question, Morten. And I think if you look at the feasibility of inkjet, and is inkjet really a feasible alternative or a solution into an offset environment? I think Ricoh, the inkjet offerings really make it very feasible to be used in an offset environment. I think Arndt explained very well if he looked at the three elements he considered. So if you look at, for instance, and I'm sorry, this is not the slide for this moment yet, but so if you look at the feasibility, it's about quality, productivity, and cost. So if I look at quality, I do think if I look at the work coming out of the presses at our customers, the quality is really good, and I think it's definitely sellable. My personal view in it is it's sometimes even better than offset. But as we all know, quality is something very subjective. So that's really something all the customers need to decide for themselves if it's suitable for their application. If I look, for instance, also at productivity, our continuous feed inkjet solutions are, I would say, definitely capable of keeping up with offset, especially on the shorter runs. They are very productive because you don't have all the work around printing plates, putting the plates on the press, cleaning the printer, etc. It's a digital printer, so you can directly print your jobs after each other, without any manual intervention. So, especially for the shorter runs, it's really capable of keeping up with the productivity. I think if you go in the long runs, then it's probably going to be typically a job which is still valid for offset. And if you look at cost, I think currently today we are at the point where it's really also possible to transfer jobs from offset to digital to inkjet without needing to pay more money for those jobs, keeping in mind that of course the cost is not just the printing cost, but it's also cost with which has to do with your total progress. So I can imagine that if you transfer inefficient short run jobs off your offset to digital, then also the productivity and the money you make on your offset presses is going to increase. So I think that those elements really make it very a viable decision or feasible decision to invest in inkjet today. But I truly also think that that's not the only part you should consider, because if you only consider those elements, then probably you will miss some of the opportunities. Because current technology, a lot of presses have been depreciated. So, for instance, costs could be very much affected by that. So, and I don't think you will explore then the full capabilities of digital printing. So, if we look at what Inkjet could bring, it's really also about efficiency in your organization by leveraging digital technologies. And it's also about bringing new opportunities, because on the end of the day, with digital, each page we print can be a unique page. And that's something definitely which I think in current times, where we need to be relevant, we need to communicate with customers on a relevant basis. So data is very important, and that's something which is not possible with offset printing. I think listening to Arn's story also before the session, they had a lot of jobs where they first printed an offset, then imprinted it with digital technologies. They're now going to replace it by really one inkjet line to improve their efficiency in their organization. So I think really there's a lot of potential in the with inkjet printing.
I couldn't disagree with you at all on this one. We were supposed to have Herman on board, and I sent him a message to this webinar as well, because I mixed up. I screwed up. Sorry. I lay flat down. But we have Willem on board here, right?
Hi, Willem.
Can you hear us? Turn on your microphone.
I can hear you, and I think I have my mic on now. Can you
Yes, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect.
I know that you were supposed to talk to Mark, but as we were talking to Sander about the feasibility of things, I will just ask some questions that is more like generic questions to understand everything that you also spoke about, Sander, because when we talk about the change moving from offset to digital, obviously Ricoh has both toner-based equipment and inkjet. So you have different levels of productivity based on your needs and things like that. And when we talk about the feasibility and when to move into high-speed inkjet, I'm not sure that I understood you 100%, Sander, but to be very spot on, isn't it about time to at least consider it seriously now?
Time to consider inkjet? Oh, definitely, Morten. Because I think if you look at digital printing, and I think we mentioned a lot of things, it's about being relevant. It's about addressing your customer needs. I think Eve also showed, delivering items on time, in the quantities people need. So definitely, I think it's now the time to invest in inkjet, to fulfill those needs.
And what I also think is an important part of this conversation is that I think that most people have been a little afraid of inkjet because it was all roll based. But now you are both in roll and cut sheet, right? So that means that also the entry point, also in relation to, let's say, commercial printers that might have a larger diversity of papers, is something where you really addresses this, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we recently announced the launch of the Ricoh Pro Set 75, which is really going to enter into the inkjet cut sheet market and really aim to capture offset volume into digital. And exactly like you said, having a roll fed device does has its limits, because you're on a roll. You're not going to change roll for each job. So usually you print and batch your jobs for a specific media, and then you change rolls. Having a cut sheet device gives you more flexibility on the use of media, not only from changing media, but also if you look at, for instance, the weights of the media. Of course, cut sheet, feature inkjet devices have more flexibility in that area. So I think the combination of high speed, high productivity, continuous feed inkjet together with a sheet fed device in inkjet really offers the best solution to the market.
But one thing is machines, the quality, the feasibility, and things like that. Mark Hinder, do you think that for print service providers speculating and moving from conventional print, so to speak, into digital, does that also require a completely new mindset in relation to business?
Well, I think the best person to speak about that will probably be Willem. What I can do is talk about a little bit about what we've done, because the key thing really here is making sure that your business model, your value proposition, everything that you are talking from a desire point of view, from the feasible point of view. In other words, does the technology work? There's one bit that's missing, making sure it's viable. And that's really where myself, what we do, come into the grand streamer's perspective. So I think what I would like to suggest, Morten, is if we can play that video, and then I'd like Willem really to explain what we've been doing with the IPN group, and that will put everything, I think, in context, because there are 3 key fundamentals here: matching desire with feasible, and then the viability at the bottom.
Perfect. Is that the RBB edge?
That's or the one. That's the one.
I thought it was, but I just wanted to be sure, so I didn't did another hiccup. Wonderful.
Thanks, Morten.
So you're competing with Inkish, making films.
Making films, making little animations. I know.
Okay, I will not take that too far. Willem, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Willem Jubels. Greetings from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. I work with a company called Response Network, which is basically a digital print company offering very small runs of digital print in color, black and white, and large format, and all that good stuff. And next to that, we also have a small retail chain of 18 print shops throughout the Netherlands. I'm currently the chairman of the International Printers Network Global, which I would like to briefly introduce myself as well. I think we have only a couple of minutes, so I'll go very quickly through that. Which is established in '93, and we're a worldwide grouping of independent owner-managed print and communication companies. And what we offer to our international operating customers is a distribute and print solutions. So one database with files, which we send all over the world, print locally and deliver locally. We are independent of suppliers. But that doesn't mean that we don't work very intensely with them, and our work which we do together with especially Eve and Mark and Sander is that Ricoh is a very valued business partner of ours for the last 3 years, I think now already, and which led to a great visit of Ricoh in Japan in 2019. So we work very intensely together, which I'll come back to in a bit. At this moment, we're 37 companies. I'll skip some of my information here. The important thing of the IPN is that we come together a couple of times a year and we meet in person, so we know each other. It's just not a click and send organization, but we know each other, and we go to the bar as well together, which is of course the fun part. But we also have meetings all day, and we learn from each other. We share knowledge. We share especially also our challenges and business cases if we want to create a global solution for one of our customers. Membership is vested in the CEO, and there's a big, we really require that you come to the meetings because we have to all know each other. Yeah, you can skip through them. I'll just go briefly over them. So how do we do business? IPN Global is not a business party, it's a platform, and so you would do business between the companies themselves. And there's one picture, if you go a bit further, Morten, please, then there's, you can see a picture where we visited Alexander's Print Advantage in Utah in 2019 as well, which is basically what the fun thing is also about, visiting new locations in the world and learning from your colleagues in China and in Brazil and in the US, which is great fun. So why am I here today? Because I worked together with Mark. We met before when Mark had a different life in print somewhere, and but we met in Japan again, and we sat down, and he told me he was working on this Edge program, the Boost program, and at that time we were. It's also a form of Inkjet, but it's a much smaller Inkjet than Eve and Sander have been talking about, which is a direct-to-garment print. And for the shops, the printerette shops, we were looking for a new way to, a better way to print shirts for our customers, also in short quantities, so no silk screen. If you can continue, Mark, if you want to ask questions, or you just want me to continue, or how do you want to approach this?
I think we can do another little bit, one of our double acts as we go through this, Willem. You know, so I think for me, the key bit with this was to understand each other and this discovery phase that we talk a lot about in the video. But we can put the slides back up again.
Sorry, that was me.
Yeah,
that was me.
Because we'll talk through this together as we go through it. But the real key to any business development program is, first of all, understanding the desire to the objective of what our customers want. And I think we can go into this into the slides now. So if we skip forward to the next slide, Willem, I think this one's for you, Willem, if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah. So I just would like to tell you, you just saw now a beautiful video with a lot of terminology, and I would like to just take you a bit through the process, because what I really liked about this project is that it's a hand-on tool, and I saw that it's all for C-level and all that kind of stuff in the video. But one of the things I thought was really nice, that you can involve also other people from your staff. It's not only for senior management and university school people, because the tools we use, and which I'll come back in a bit, are really easy to use. So we started a program with 4 companies in total, 2 in the US and 2 in Europe, and we started building a business plan together. How did we do this? We had weekly calls, and we also invited experts like Art Eschenlohr, talking about online business and marketing, because we were going to sell via the web as well as, in our case, through our shops, and getting these experts, which Ricoh can introduce to you. We even had a spin-off, and we did a 3-afternoon training session for the whole IPN, in effect. So it really brings in very interesting stuff that you can work on together. Then we started off with investigating your local market, who is there, what is the price level, etc. Very easy to do. And then we started to build actually the business plan. And the last phase of the process is, of course, the testing and implementation. So if you can proceed to the next slide. So these are 4 of the tools that we used. Or actually, Mark advised us to use Strategizer, which he had worked with before. And then the Strategizer, for if you don't know, it's a very to use online system in which you can build a business plan with your team. You build a business model canvas, which that's how it's called, and you come up with your value proposition, and you build customer profiles. For example, what are you looking at is what are you try to identify the pains that your customer has, and what kind of pain relief can you come up with buying new equipment or changing your production method, etc. We also work with an ROI calculator, which is basically nothing else than a nice Excel sheet, very easy to use, very low entry. And then there was the part where Mark came in, using his 7 P's marketing tool, looking at the product, price, promotion, etc., which many of you probably have learned in business school as well when you a number of years ago. And in the end was that we took out the project planner, which is also a simple Excel-based tool, which Ricoh gave to us. You wanted to ask something, Morten? I saw.
Yeah, no, I have to be the tedious, annoying person, because I mean, Mark already in the beginning or before we started the session, without even my technical issues, said to me, we might have too much content for an hour's presentation. So I'm sorry, I have to kind of interrupt also because we have a few questions from the audience. And I think that, to be honest, I think that I would like to, because I have screwed up totally, I will give you an opportunity, Will, and maybe we should make the Skype interview where we have all the time we need to talk about what the IPN Global Network is, because I think it's really interesting, and I think that it can compensate a little bit for my bad technical knowledge. Or what do you think about that?
Yeah, sure. If you could just briefly go to the next slide.
Sure.
Because there's some quick takeaways. Mm-hmm. Which, when you do a project like this, it's really fun to do it with a group. And I must say the support by Ricoh was incredible, and Mark's enthusiasm really helped and brought a lot of fun as well. At a certain moment, he was even joining the meeting from the streets of Prague. and trying to interview and steal things from shops. So it was really,
yes.
It made it a lot of fun. It was something to look forward to join these meetings. It's good to also have, so when you do a project like this, it's really good to have like a police officer or a nasty teacher, which makes sure that you do your homework, etc. But Mark did a great job in that, and I really liked the way the project was done. So you saw the video with a lot of nice buzzwords. Sorry, Mark, which looks very fancy, but it is a very hands-on tool, and that's what really brought forward. And you wanted to know what did we take out there? Well, the thing is, we're in the final stages of testing the equipment, even upgrading to the RI 2000 probably, and we're rolling it out to our 18 shops, not 18 printers, Mark, sorry, but one printer for now for 18 shops. But it's actually happening now. We're selling the product, and it's working.
And now that was the last word. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but I will make it up to you again. I promise you. So thank you very much for the time. And I think it was, regardless of it was a little bit short, I think it was very valuable information. And I thank you very much for your participation. And I'm sure we will talk again soon, right?
Yeah, and we would like to answer the questions which were asked by Tim and Davide then separately. So I think, Mark, you can answer the question from Tim, and Sander will pick up with Davide afterwards.
Sounds great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
And thanks, Willem, for joining.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye.